Welcome to the Rich Carroll program. I am your host, Rich Carroll. So what I want to talk to you today about is something that was in the news this past Tuesday. The New York State Legislature passed a bill which expanded abortion protections, a bill called the Reproductive Health Act. This bill would allow abortions past 24 weeks, quote, when necessary to protect a woman's life or health. But what exactly does health of the mother mean in this instance? National Review clarified health of the mother is based on the Supreme Court case Doe versus Bolton. And that case, health was decided on factors like physical, emotional, psychological factors, family, and the woman's age. In other words, abortion will be available to women essentially on demand up to the point of birth. That's a large part of what this bill would do. A bill that Governor Andrew Cuomo says he wants to make a part of the New York Constitution. And it was particularly disturbing to see some of the reactions to this bill. There was one video tweeted out by Planned Parenthood New York that showed onlookers in the state Senate chamber celebrating when the bill passed. And you watch this video and you see these people, they're celebrating and they have no grasp on the bill that they are cheering for, what it actually does. Because in their minds, this is about women's rights. Now, I oftentimes monitor how I talk about abortion because of what a sensitive subject it is. I mean, I want people to know my side of the argument, and one of the quickest ways to shut people off is to start using harsh language surrounding the subject. But having said that, I can't sugarcoat how serious of a subject abortion really is. Abortion is the murder of an innocent, unborn baby. In 2018, abortion was the worldwide leading cause of death. It's estimated the number of lives lost to abortion is around 42 million babies in 1 year. So we are living in a time when infanticide is legal and is praised as women's rights and reproductive care. Some go as far as to boast about and encourage abortion. So someone has to stand up for those who cannot speak for themselves. And those of us who call ourselves pro-life, we must continue to do what we can to protect the unborn. As the state of New York has shown, those in favor of abortion are doing what they can to ensure the practice. Andrew Cuomo wants to put this in the New York Constitution. So if this story, if it evokes emotions in you such as sadness or anger, I'm here to tell you that you can turn that emotion into action. And here's how. First, you can start by supporting pro-life organizations. By making a financial contribution to a pro-life group, you could literally be saving the life of a baby or changing someone's mind about abortion. Groups like Save the Storks, Mission Preborn, and Live Action, they are all worthy pro-life causes. So I encourage you, go to their websites, go to their social media accounts, check them out, and consider financially supporting them. I know Save the Storks and Mission Preborn in particular, they will provide free ultrasounds to pregnant women. And there was a survey conducted by the National Institute of Family and Life Advocates that found 78% of women choose life after seeing an ultrasound. The next thing we can do is bring awareness by sharing stories about abortion and the humanity of the unborn. Look, I get it. Abortion can be a difficult subject to talk about. Ergo, many people won't talk about it. But it is important to expose the atrocities of abortion. Did you know that a baby can feel pain as early as 20 weeks and possibly earlier? So imagine that in some abortion procedures, the baby can feel itself being killed. Or how about this? A study by Oxford University found a fetus's heartbeat can be detected as early as 16 days after conception. And yet New York has expanded the timeline of abortions and when they can take place, a process that stops a heartbeat. There are many stories of women who vocalize their regret and their emotional distress after having an abortion. Deanna Falchuk, I did a show on her. She lamented how she felt hollow inside after having an abortion. But we should also share the miraculous stories of pregnancy to reinforce the life of the unborn. Trevor Frolek, I guess that's how you say his last name, he was born prematurely at 23 weeks. That's a week before what New York just expanded abortion access on. Trevor was so small a wedding ring could fit around his leg. A year later, Trevor went home with his parents. You see, this is not just a clump of cells inside a mother's body. It is a growing human being. Another story the Daily Mail reported. Katie Evans, she was given a 1% chance that her baby would survive the pregnancy due to complications. Katie was advised to have an abortion, but she refused. 5 months later, Katie brought home a baby boy who survived against the odds. And I tell you this because stories like these are documented time after time, and they could be a wake-up call to someone. And you can find stories like these by following groups such as National Right to Life or Live Action. So if you see a story like this, share it. Another thing we can do is contact our lawmakers. There is plenty of legislation in state and federal legislature to fight against abortion. Make sure your lawmakers know where you stand by contacting them and telling them to support pro-life bills. Following groups like Live Action and National Right to Life, they'll keep you up to date on a national level. And if you want to stay informed on a state level, look for state pro-life groups. For instance, if you live in Texas, search for Texas Right to Life. If you live in New York, New York Right to Life, and so forth and so on. The next step that goes hand in hand with the previous one, vote for pro-life candidates. Make sure during an election that you research your political candidates and their views on abortion. If they aren't pro-life and that is a big factor for you, move on to someone else. And a rule of thumb is, if Planned Parenthood supports a candidate, they probably aren't pro-life. If you have an incumbent politician who doesn't share your views on abortion, vote them out. I'm thankful to say my governor is in stark contrast to Andrew Cuomo on abortion. In 2018, Texas Governor Greg Abbott told Jeremiah Thomas he wanted to outlaw abortion altogether. Another one is Ohio Governor Mike DeWine. He said he would sign a heartbeat bill that previous Governor John Kasich vetoed twice, citing legal challenges. And a heartbeat bill basically restricts abortion once a heartbeat has been detected on ultrasound. So I applaud those two governors for standing for life. The next step, which is a very important one. There are many women who may feel pressured into having an abortion. We who are pro-life, especially Christians, should be loving, caring, and non-judgmental of those in pregnancy crisis. If you know someone who is considering an abortion or has a pregnancy crisis, for instance, an unwed underage mother, encourage them that abortion is not the answer. Show them the support they need and don't use tactics such as chastising them. You might even refer them to the Pregnancy Crisis Hotline, and you can find that number in my sources section. And lastly, remember to pray for our leaders. Pray that they would make the right decisions regarding the unborn and advance pro-life policies. Pray for women who may be struggling with pregnancy, that they would find help and support. Pray that our nation wakes up to the injustice being committed every day and sanctioned under the guise of reproductive care. Pray for the hearts of those who may not yet realize what abortion actually is. Pray that their hearts would be changed and their eyes would be opened. You can make a difference to an unborn child. But you have to act. It's not enough to just get angry. So I encourage you now to take this information and act on behalf of the unborn. Thanks for tuning in once again. I'm Rich Carroll. God bless.